What stopped you from committing suicide? I was at the top of a ladder with a rope around my neck and couldn't take the pain anymore. I thought of my wife coming home and finding me, and I've been to enough suicide scenes to know what it would do to her and my kids. I climbed down and called a hotline. It helped, and I ended up seeing a good psychologist and a pain specialist for the unending nerve pain. My mom would be sad and disappointed when I meet her on the other side. I know this is a meme, but it held quite true. Mum would be sad. My brother. I couldn't stand the thought of making him sad. Dave. My brother did it, and I saw how it affected everyone in our lives. Even now, years later. It destroyed so much more than his life. My mom. She lost her first son at 7 days old due to a heart defect. She's since had me and my brother. I'm the youngest. We are now 30 years old. I'm so fucking miserable though. I was born with a degenerative eye disease that eventually make me blind while being born deaf. I recently lost my kid, and I miss him so much. My life. My sister and her 2 cats. As unhealthy as it likely is, we essentially have a suicide pact where if one of us goes, the other likely would too due to the severe depression we would endure. The last time I tried to kill myself, it's all I could think about, is how sad she would be, how disappointed. She's one of the few people who I really look up to and whose approval I actually care about. If I went, then she would likely go, and her 2 sweet cats whom I love dearly like my own children would be all alone. I honestly would rather suffer than make those cats suffer. A mashed potato / brisket / mushrooms mixture combined in a cornbread waffle cone. Thank you, Lighthouse Grill in Humboldt. My thought process was fuck it, I'll go try that before I call it a life, but then when it was so good I realized if something this good is still discoverable there must be more to life, and I'd give it another year. We've passed that year by a few months, and with DBT and creating a healthier life I haven't had suicidal ideation for almost a year. Thanks for making me reflect through this question up. The thought that my mom will be devastated cause she has only me. I knew it was part of a mental illness and called the doctor to say I felt suicidal, so I got an immediate appointment and started antidepressants. Fast forward to the results 6 years later, on antidepressants, antipsychotics and relaxation medication, but haven't felt this good in ages. Remember, Terry's always help out there. A psych answered my mail with an appointment suggestion. And the journey began towards a better life, honestly. But she was really bad at what she was doing, still it helped. One thing I suggest you to do. Stop being so fucking harsh on yourself. You are doing your best, everyone is. I made a promise to myself that I'd make it to my 70th birthday, and then, if I still felt like killing myself, I'd charter a plane so I could jump out into the Atlantic. Mum would be sad. One time it was calling a suicide hotline and the person who answered asking me to promise not to kill myself that day and to go get help. Also getting on antidepressants. I got divorced soon after. My marriage needed to die, not me. First attempt, 2009, I was sitting in my bathtub with a knife in my hand when I suddenly got a text message. It was my then friend, now significant other of 13 years, he asked if I was okay because I wasn't where I normally was from my very consistent habits. His text message was the only time someone asked if I was okay, and I don't know if he knows he saved my life that day. Second attempt, 2011, I attempted to suffocate myself. I woke up 16 hours later and walked to school at a little before 2 p.m. realizing I'm not allowed to die. I got yelled at a couple hours later by my mom because I missed school that day with the red ring still around my neck from the rope. Nobody said anything. Third attempt, 2018, my dog stole the noose and threw it down the steps before cuddling me. Since then he watches for when I feel bad and stays close to me when I need it. Love you, Sammy. Fourth attempt, 2021, I jumped out my window. I lived with minor injuries. Nobody knows I did this. How scary it is and leaving my sick mom behind, but depending on the results 2 weeks from now I may reconsider. My cat wouldn't understand where I went. My mom and my brother. I can't bear the thought of having to put them through the pain that I am going through at the moment. I did a trip on psychedelic truffles. A random call the moment I was about to do it. Was a friend, we talked, didn't do it. Never looked back. Doesn't cross my mind anymore as it used to before. Edit, somehow months after that I met an amazing woman and we're dating now, smile. I was hurting a lot and could not see an exit other than ending it all. The thought of me hurting my mother and my sister with me departing was unbearable. With that, no one could love my cat as much as only I could, and I didn't want him to be placed elsewhere. I am truly happy that I never did it. Some days I'm not really sure. Right now, it's that I gotta take care of people I care about. Pure chance. I was 50-50 between running myself off of the road on the way home. I felt like I flipped a coin. I was so close to turning the wheel. I'm glad I didn't. There was so much I didn't know about what was being done to me back then. In one moment, I could have ended it all without ever knowing that what was happening to me wasn't my fault. I'm glad I'm here. Okay, this will probably get buried, but if even one person contemplating suicide reads it, I'll be happy. What stopped me, several times, is the 3-day rule. To paraphrase, it goes, any major decision you take in your life, you should take 3 days to think about. For example, buying a new car, or moving cross-country, these are major life decisions, and you wouldn't make them on the spur of the moment. Killing yourself is the biggest life decision you will ever make. So you should take 3 days to think about it. If, after 3 days, you still want to end it all, you can. But here's the thing. After waiting 3 days, I always found things had turned around and I no longer wanted to kill myself. I think this works because it isn't saying no, don't do that. It's gently saying, are you sure you want to do that? Don't make an impulsive decision, wait it out. And, in my experience, it always works. Sending so much love to everyone on this thread. My ex, who was the reason I was trying in the first place. He carried me to the bathroom, helped me vomit everything out, washed me down in the shower while I wailed about wanting to die, got me water, carried me to bed, etc. These days, I'm really happy that I'm alive, because things are going so well for me, so in a way, I'm grateful. But at the time, it felt cruel, like he wasn't letting me escape him. I felt the calm of realizing I was going to do it, but then I also realized that there was no rush because the option is always there. I had an immense sense of freedom and the pressure was off. That was a while ago and I'm better now, just wish I wasn't so unmotivated. Curiosity. No matter how bad things got for me, I still wonder how the world is going to be when I'm an old man. I wanna see it. Learning my thoughts were being driven by a pathology. At this point, I'm not sure anymore. Heights. I am terrified of heights. So when I got onto the edge of the bridge, the height of the bridge sacred me so much that I just couldn't jump. Fear sometimes ends up saving your life. My partner and our rescue cat Ralph, every time I have those bitter thoughts I think of those I'd leave behind. I've tried 3 times, the first time the docs said it's actually a miracle I didn't die. But the very first time I wanted to do it I was in the kitchen with my 2 dogs at the time, I was just about to turn 16. One look from them and I fell into a mess on the floor and hugged them for God knows how long. One of them was a childhood dog I'd had for 13 years before he passed 3 years ago. His death hit me so much harder than I thought, and that is one of the reasons why. It's been almost 2 years since my last attempt. Now I have a new dog and a fiancé that needs me to stay. My friend texted me and asked me if I wanted to go to Starbucks and get a donut. I couldn't say no. My dog wouldn't have known why I was gone. A well-timed phone call from a family member having to feed my cats not being very good at it. My sister. No one will see this. But my best friend killed himself when we were 14. I knew how it affected me, But being alive to witness even our vague acquaintances suffer over years, well into their adulthood, made me realize how far-reaching the tragedy is. Even when we think no one will care or we don't have a big impact on people we barely know, it's just so untrue. We can't comprehend the magnitude of that decision, even if we try. It alters so many lives and their trajectories. It's beautiful and also grotesque. While I may still want to at times, I cling to what I witnessed. Please seek help. The thought of leaving my wife and daughter. But I'm afraid it won't be enough. A dog made a final goodbye call from the top of a mountain where I had planned to shoot myself. Very good friend's dog started barking and crying in the background, and my buddy asked if I was okay. Talked me off the mountain.